What's up, people of Earth? This is Kuyosan, and welcome to the channel. Star Wars: The Last Jedi is out. Yay! Star Wars: The Last Jedi is pretty divisive in the community. The internet tearing itself apart, doesn't know what to do. Yeah, but it was a good movie in my opinion. But I can't understand why people are upset about it. So this is gonna be a quick review on my thoughts and opinions of the film and its themes. I think the main reason people don't like the film is because it's such a departure from what we established in the original franchise. The Force Awakens pretty much just retread over the ideas that we saw in A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. This film takes those ideas and kind of throws them out the window. I think the main idea is said by Kylo Ren himself. He says, "Let the past die. Destroy it if you have to," and that's the overall theme of this movie. The whole idea of having a crazy strong Sith Lord and his Padawan try to take over the galaxy, they kind of that theory. Snoke was a joke. Ha ha! Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, Snoke died out of nowhere, and he was built up to be this character that was going to be so evil and so strong and so imbued with the power of the dark side that people were a little angry when he died out of nowhere. But this is going against the whole archetype of the big baddie. Even in other films, we've seen it where it's a generic bad guy that is super strong and super evil. You know, we can move past that to someone who has the death. Let's look at Kylo Ren. If he's actually going to step up as the new antagonist for this film, that's going to be cool because we've learned his story and we know that he's more than just a super powerful evil guy. And I also want to point out how Snoke was the voice of the community for a little bit. He made fun of Kylo Ren and told him he was no Vader. That was some of the criticisms that people had with the last film. They said, why do we have this weak child trying to pretend to be Vader? There was a reason for that, and we saw it in this film. He was supposed to be a artificial Vader. He was supposed to be someone who was living up for an idea that he could never be. That's why he was weak in the first film. And even pointing out the fact that he lost a lightsaber duel to an untrained girl. Rey had no training with a lightsaber and beat Kylo Ren. Yeah, that was part of the story. I also really like the idea that you shouldn't wait for a hero to save you. You need to save yourself. That was a big ongoing theme in this movie. Luke said it when he first met Rey. He was like, "Oh, what do you want me to do? Take a laser sword and go save the universe?" No, that's not the direction that this film is going. We've seen it already with Luke being the young protagonist who goes on a journey and becomes strong to go save the universe. That's not the story they're telling anymore. Now they're trying to tell you a story of everyday people who stand up to be heroes and are going to fight for what they believe in. I think that's why it was so great to introduce the character of Rose, who was just some nerd working on a ship. I believe she was a communications officer or something around those lines, and she ends up playing a major role in saving the rebels. She also had a good idea where she said we need to fight for what we love, not what we hate. But I'll get into that a little bit later in other themes of the film. Not needing heroes is something that I think a lot of people are going to have issues with. Everyone wanted to see Luke Skywalker come back, save the galaxy, be the gallant hero that he was. But again, that's not the film we're looking at. We've seen that story before. We've seen him and Han be heroes. We've seen him and Leia fight to save the Resistance and fight to save the galaxy. This is a new story. This is a story about people saving themselves. Everyday people having the strength to do it. And I think that's admirable to show in a film when you have so many other films that are just, hey, oh, I'm in terror, I'm waiting for someone to save me. Empower yourself. And I think that also goes along with the whole idea of what the Force is. We were kind of told in the previous films that you had to be special to have the Force. The Force was only for the Jedi or the Sith. But now we're understanding that the Force is everywhere. The Force doesn't belong to the Jedi. It doesn't belong to the Sith. The Force is just something that they manipulated for their own causes, which is that right in the first place? Maybe the Jedi were just as bad as the Sith when using that. And they kind of altered the idea of what the Force is. In the Jedi Temple, Luke shows Rey that the Force is life and death. The principles of the Jedi, what they were teaching, strayed away from actually having emotion. Even Anakin brought it up in the prequels. You are taught that you can't love a person, but you're fighting to save the galaxy. That kind of goes against the whole idea. You can't fall in love. You can't have possessions. You can't really be a person. But on the opposite side, you have the Sith, who are all about just emotion and letting it go. So I think you need to be somewhere in the middle, which is what this film is trying to show us. But then again, this is a theme that they haven't really talked about in any other films, so it's taking a little bit for people to grasp that idea. Both Kylo Ren and Rey, they talk about how they have equal amount of light side and dark side in them. And I think they really are showing us what a Force user is going to look like. They are going to be something far beyond what the Jedi are, far beyond what the Sith are, and you have to let that whole idea die or kill it if you have to. All right, let's talk about Rey's parents. There were a lot of theories on who Rey was. Even myself, I thought she was Kylo Ren's sister. I think that goes back to the extended universe books or something like that. But hey, I think it's actually better that she was just some random booze hound's daughter. Pretty much everyone's made the joke that the Skywalkers are the reason that the galaxy is in peril. And isn't it a little bit better that someone besides this one family is a part of the story? Isn't it a little bit unbelievable that one family's fate controls everyone in the galaxy? So I think this brings a little bit more realism to the story, and it's pretty refreshing. Okay, let's go back to what's probably the most hated part of the film, the whole Canto Bight Casino fiasco. All right, yes, you could take this out of the film. Yes, the film will be fine, but I think it has a place in the film. The casino scene is showing you some of the normal themes that have been in all the Star Wars movies, where it's nature versus the industry of the Empire. That's something that's always been there. There's two reasons why we have the casino scene. One, it shows you that not every plan that the rebels have works perfectly and saves the day. They can't just have an awesome plan that's going to save the day all the time. No, people fail, and that's an ongoing idea in the film, that failure is the best teacher. So yeah, they learned that sometimes you get beat. And also, the casino scene goes back to what we've seen in pretty much all the Star Wars, where you have industry versus nature. That is pretty much an ongoing theme for all of the Star Wars movies. So yeah, that's something we've seen in all the Star Wars movies. Again, the Ewoks. You remember them. They beat military units with rocks and sticks. Yeah, that's Star Wars. And it gave a little bit more exposure to Rose, who, again, people have issues with, that she kind of gets a little romantic tension between her and Finn. But to me, I don't think that's really romance. She looked up to him to being a hero. Then she found out her hero was a lie. But in finding out her hero was a lie, she found out that Finn was an actual person, which goes back to the whole theme of letting your heroes go. You don't want heroes. You want to know actual people. She figured out who he was, cared about him enough to risk her life for him. That shows what the rebels fight for and what the First Order fights for. The rebels are fighting for every single person. Every single soldier there is important to them. when you look at the First Order, they're just faceless drones. They don't even seem to be actual people. They don't care about them. And Rose says the line of, you need to fight for what you love, not what you hate, which is so powerful in the ideas that have always been in Star Wars. Alright. A minor issue, which I actually think is pretty funny. Yoda being